Lindy, are you using the same skaters as you used last night?
That's a good one.
And well, there's a method to the madness on the question, which is that you've used the same 18 skaters, though in different iterations in some of the lines for the last 14 games, and that's the longest stretch in 16 years for the Devils. In fact, it's the longest in franchise history, the longest since 2006. My point is, what's the connection between stability and the success you've had being able to use that same lineup?
It is a great question. I think with winning and trying to really stay with how we need to play and guys getting comfortable with each other. But I think ultimately, when you're winning, you look at your lineup and you like a lot of things. There's always on different nights and maybe one or two guys that maybe you thought could have went better or maybe had a tougher night. But that's in wins, that's in losses. So it really felt with the way we're playing, we haven't had to make changes. And we've talked about it, but haven't made any.
To be clear, it is the longest stretch in Devils history, and 12 was the last time. It was the longest, and that was back in 2006. So is there a comfort level from a coaching standpoint that, all right, I can just keep rolling these guys. They're playing up to our standards, and until or unless they stop, I can just keep using them.
Yeah, I think unless, you really find that you need to tweak something or you find that somebody is really struggling, and that would be multiple games where things haven't gone well for a player. But, I think that our team game has been so good. That there hasn't, on different nights you've seen lines change. I think the part that's changed is line combinations have changed a lot inside of games, from game to game, based on sometimes on matchups, sometimes on the road matchups. We've set lines up that we feel that we should be able to play almost any line against anybody. We've been fortunate.
After the Washington game, things have changed dramatically. You gave up 6 that night. You've only given up three times. Other than that, it's 2-1 or 0. Did anything happen in that game or after that kind of turned things around so dramatically?
Well, we had a meeting in Detroit the next day and talked about some of our puck management, which really hurt us the year before. Talked about our identity in a meeting. We didn't skate in Detroit. We just had a meeting at the hotel and what that identity was going to be, and not being careless with the puck and putting pucks into the middle of the ice. And we had lots of opportunities in the Washington game, but we handed them some opportunities that just wasn't good hockey.
Do you feel that meeting sort of ended up setting the standard going forward? What was so poignant about that?
We covered a lot of stuff in that meeting. From different areas, different roles, what we expect from each other. I don't think ultimately it was just that meeting, but it was just, emphasizing, the camp we had, the first game, which our puck management wasn't good, and then that game there where, I didn't think we managed the puck very well.
Lindy, what is it about coaching that keeps you coming back year after year after year? What do you enjoy most?
Just I love dealing with you guys.
I know.
It's my favorite part.
Right, that's one. What
yeah.
about 2?
2 now?
Also 2.
Just the interaction, the adrenaline, dealing with players. I enjoy it. I really enjoy the day-to-day, the trying to get us to play better, trying to get players to improve, trying to keep improving our game, trying to get to know each player better.
Has it become tougher to coach players now than it was when you started in Buffalo? Is it more difficult to coach players?
I wouldn't use the word difficult. I think you operate at a different level where, and I've said this, you have to be open to listening a lot more. I think players, they listen to you, but I think at the same time they want you to listen to them too when they've got a point to be made.
How important was the win after the winning streak stopped?
You know, we talked about as a team, we don't want to lose 2 games in a row, and I, you know, sometimes I think that's really hard in this league. But again, to bounce back because we've been on such a high, you worry a little bit about like nobody. It was a tough feeling after losing because we hadn't lost for so long. You know, and I didn't want it to be one of those ones where you got to try to pick guys up. And I thought that first period showed that, you know, we wanted to get right back on track.
Did you say it to the team before the game about what you're just telling us, how important it would be to win?
No, we went through our normal routine and talked about how important it was to come out and play a really good first period, and we'll go from there.
The Hallman Mercer-Hughes line last night kind of dominated all the chance totals when it was on the ice. What did you think they did well that allowed them to control the game when they were out there?
You know, puck movement, ozone positioning was good. Even that early chance, you know, Merce found the high slot, hit a goal post. Plays like that, I thought they supported each other really well.
What do you think, like playing with Jack on locks and Dawson, that kind of allows him to maybe get in better positions to score, have more opportunities to score?
Well, I know that they have some chemistry. They had some chemistry last year, so it's something that, you know, on the road, if we're looking for a certain matchup, it works out good for us.
Lindy, a guy like Akira, obviously another great performance last night. Is he a guy that, you know, if he continues stringing performances like this, can play his way onto the regular roster, or do you think he's still maybe a little bit too young?
You know, obviously he's played well. You just continue to evaluate. Your eyes get bigger and bigger when he continues to play the way he has, and he's making a statement that, you know, he can win NHL games. He's young and actually not a lot of pressure because he's coming in relief. I think sometimes when you become the guy, or you're all of a sudden you have to be this guy, there's a little bit more pressure on him. But we have really liked the way he's played, and he's making a statement that he can be a consistent NHL goaltender.